On everyone. Welcome back. This is episode 4, I think, of our Challenger Series interviews. I'm with my co-host Dylan Williamson. Dylan, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Chance? Thanks for having
I'm
me.
doing well, thank you. And then our special guests of the night, we have John Therrien and Robbie Karstendiek. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you both for taking the time to join Dylan and I and discuss what we have going on next weekend. We're only 8 days away from you guys having your match. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's flying. It's coming up quick.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I thought I thought I still had a month to prepare, and then it turns out I have like 8 days. So Dylan and I are moving quick right now, just getting everything finalized.
Yeah, Dylan, I see you killing it. I see you killing it in the weight room and moving crazy weights. I never met you in person, but it's gonna be a pleasure to meet you. I met you, Chance. Met you in Vegas. I haven't met John yet. It's gonna be an honor to meet all of you guys. So it's gonna be a great event.
Yeah. By the way, Dylan uses plastic weights, so just don't.
It's all for the gram.
Yeah. Perfect. Those weights are crazy, though. It's insane.
That's awesome. But so before we get into the Challenger Series and your guys' preparation and event, I just want to touch a little bit on the King of the Table matches. John, I'll start with you. Did any of the matches stand out to you, surprise you, or impress you?
One of the matches that really stood out for me was Paul Lynn. I really thought it would have been a closer match, but Paul Lynn was very dominant.
Yeah.
Which I should have expected. Paul's a total tank, so congrats to him. Also, Michael Todd, another victory for Michael, so that's always good to see. So, yeah, in general, it was a lot of great matches, and always a great event as usual. So,
yeah. I had Lachlan. I was rooting for Paul, but I thought Lachlan would walk away, and I was way off on that. Robbie, any matches stand out or impress you?
Just like John said, those two matches really stood out. I knew Paul. I pulled with him. I knew his level, but I knew how good Lachlan was. I thought it was going to be a great matchup regardless. I was rooting for Paul. I thought he was going to win. I thought it was going to be closer because Lachlan was coming down in weight and Paul is going up in weight. So I thought it would just be a little bit closer. Lachlan's super crazy strong. I mean, at his last King of the Table before Paul's, he just smoked him. So I thought it was going to be a little bit better match, but I'm sure Lachlan's going to come out better. And like John said too, with Michael Todd, it's great to see him back. Get some victories, and I think he's going to be at the top again soon. So
yeah. I mean, Michael is on a good trajectory right now. He's first he beat Pavlo, then he beat Frank Lamparelli.
Right.
Now he beat Lars. But his next opponent is going to be his toughest one in a long time against David Darakian. Darakian. Yeah. So
that's going to be. But I think Michael's one of the most determined people I've known. Is most disciplined too, and you need that in arm wrestling. You can't really just get unmotivated and motivated. You really need to be at that top level. You kind of have to stay in that headspace where you keep pushing and grinding, regardless of any adversity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wish I had half the time that Michael spends in the gym. God damn.
Yeah,
he is definitely motivated, and it's
right. Yeah,
it's an inspiration for sure.
It's great for the community, like him and Devin, and big platforms like you guys. Just it brings a lot of arm wrestlers and new faces, and then potential just monsters that come out of the woodworks.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, what was your favorite match of the night for King of the Table?
Obviously, my favorite match was Paul Lynn and Lachlan Adair. I had Paul, like I've said before. I felt him on the table. I was confident in him. Me and him had talked many times before that, and I wished him the best. And he ended up pulling it off. I think he pulled it off a whole lot easier than most people thought he would, for sure. But also, great big congrats to Michael. That's awesome on a comeback after tearing his bicep, whether it was partial or fully off the bone, I forget. But that's always awesome to see one on the comeback, and I applaud his tear through the rankings, and I wish him the best of luck from there.
Yeah, absolutely. My personal favorite match was actually watching Oleg Petrenko beat Kitargali Ungarbayev 4-0 or 6-0.
So what happened?
Petrenko, total domination inside and outside of the straps, controlled the hand, way too much arm. I mean, Angerbayev had absolutely no options, no solutions.
Wow.
It looked extremely one-sided, which I think the polls had Petrenko at like 10% chance to win that. And he just showed everyone that he's the man.
Yeah. Wow, that's all. So it was 6-0? 6-0?
It was either 4-0 or 6-0. Let me double check here. I have the results pulled up. 4-0. They stopped after 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. I wish I got to see that one. And I heard Camille lost, right?
Yeah, Camille lost 4-2. Vitaly beat him 4-2. I think if a couple things were called a little bit differently, it honestly could have flip-flopped.
Yeah.
With a flop press, if you don't hit it, if you don't get behind your shoulder, you lose everything. You know, so if you're starting from here, it's already over.
Yeah.
But a few things adjusted, and I truly think that match could have gone the other way. So, in my opinion,
later on, or did he win off the go?
He won the last 2 rounds.
Oh, the last 2? Okay.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, even though he lost, he still showed that he belongs with those, the top guys in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get a little bit into your preparation. John, I'll start with you. Have you changed your preparation at all going into your match with Robbie? And whether or not you have or have not, what has your training looked like? Table time, weights? Give me the breakdown.
So that's nothing new with me. I don't have time, honestly, to do any weights. My job is very, very physical. So, again, I keep in shape with my work. As for prepping for Robbie, I've watched some videos. I did my homeworks. I know where Robbie's strong, and I do a lot of table time. So that's where I get prepared for him and for any guys I pull. So I have a good idea what I'm going to do, and hopefully it works out.
Did you adjust your table time at all for Robbie specifically, or do you kind of stay consistent with what you do regardless of your opponent?
Yeah, I just stay consistent. So I try to do 2 sessions of table times a week, and like pretty hard session. So like I'm sore until the next practice. So I think adding more to that would be overdoing it. So I don't think it'd be any beneficial to do more.
Yeah. Same question to you, Robbie. What's your training been looking like, and have you adjusted it for John?
It's a little bit opposite of John right now. I haven't been getting too much table time just because I've been busy. So like in the group I've had is kind of a little bit out there, so I'm not able to make too many practices since Coach Ray. I haven't really made too many practices, but on the other hand, I have been training a lot. I have, a table and a pulley and everything at home. So I do a lot of training, hand and wrist work, side pressure work, and a lot of stuff at the gym. I still have more of a powerlifting background. So I'm still always, even if I go to the gym, I do some type of table, hand, wrist, forearm stuff, try to incorporate arm wrestling in there.
Yeah.
But it's been good. It's been going well. My number's been going up, rise, pronation, and, my static holds and everything. I've been really catering more specific arm wrestling stuff rather than my powerlifting background. But my table time hasn't been too much for this prep, too much.
Okay. Anything specific for John, or are you just trying overall to get stronger everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I know, I've watched videos of John. He's an amazing puller. I feel like we have a lot of similarities. But as far as like specifics, nothing really specific, just to train for him. I'm trying to get more well-rounded in everything, just so I can be more versatile.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great game plan. What's your weight looking like, Robbie?
I'm probably around 212, 213. So I'll do a little water cut next week. It shouldn't be bad though.
Okay. And John, what did you say that your weight was?
I'm like 196. That's my normal weight. I have a lot of trouble gaining weight, so
yeah,
I don't really care about the number really. I just focus on coming in as ready as I can, and the good thing is I don't need to cut any weight, so I think that's a big advantage. I come in, right. I can go to McDonald's right before my comp. I can make weight and just crush it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's that's great. I mean, I think there's pros and cons for cutting weight or being able to eat into your class. Like Paul Len and Lachlan, for example. Lachlan came down, Paul came up, and it ended up working in Paul's favor. But in a lot of other instances, when you have guys from Eastern Europe, especially Kazakhstan, they're known for cutting 15, 20 pounds before their competition. They refuel and then they outweigh everyone. So I think that there's pros and cons to it, but I think maybe everyone's a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think it's like how you feel healthy, like what you feel healthiest at. You know, for me, probably around 205, 206, I feel healthiest at. My conditioning's good. My strength is still there. That's probably where I'm at. And then usually, like, the weight I'm at right now, I'm still in really good condition, but I need to be down at more 209, 208-ish to really to do well, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, do you have any experience with weight cuts, or have you consistently pulled supers?
I have consistently pulled supers, but as of recently, I am trying to come down in weight. I got up to real close, like, right there at 290. And right now I am, in the mornings, I'm about 268. So I'm slowly making my way down, but I come from a powerlifting and bodybuilding background.
Mhm.
So I have, I don't know, you'd call it a decade, nearly 11 years of experience cutting weight, water cutting, dieting for 16 weeks at a time, and knowing how to really bring it down almost to just a fine point peak of within a week almost, that I can take 16 weeks and draw my body down 30 pounds. And I mean, I have videos to back it up that in the powerlifting world, that my numbers gradually went up as I came down in weight. So
Wow.
I never fear cutting weight for arm wrestling now that I'm experiencing that and having to do it now. And right now, from 268 to nearly, call it 288, so call it a 20-pound difference right now. There's a few table session numbers that have already went up.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And
I
now,
can.
don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. It really sucks when you do it absolutely properly, because it takes a long time. You got to eat the same shit day in, day out. Like this morning, I cooked the little one bacon, eggs, biscuits. Couldn't eat none of it. I had to eat out of Tupperware.
Just like a tease for you, just looking
Yeah.
at it. I can't
Yeah.
even have. When are you going to compete? Are you going to compete soon at a tournament?
I am. It's already been accepted, so I can go ahead and announce it. I will be in the 12-man round robin in
Nice.
September of the
Awesome.
Rage Super Heavyweights.
That's awesome. That'd be good.
And so, like, there you go. Most people are like, "Man, you're doing such a long prep." Like, people are like, "Damn, I wish I could have a month prep for some arm wrestling." I'm doing a 3-month prep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'll come in like it's a super heavyweight, but I'll still come in. I don't know. I'll probably lose another 5 pounds. So I'm in striking distance of 253 with just a water cut.
Wow.
That super heavyweight round robin is going to be awesome.
Where's
The only
that
other,
where's it?
that's Tampa, Florida, September 7th.
So it's gonna be kind of close.
So far, the only person that has been announced is Corey West, but
no, Don Underwood got announced too.
Okay. There you go. So Corey, Don, Dylan, there's a bunch more. Obviously, there's 9 other people that are going to get announced, but that's going to be a pretty kick-ass event. I'm relearning how to cut weight and how to water cut, so I'm just getting into that field again.
I'm excited for your match. That's awesome.
Well, I'm very excited too, but unfortunately, like, the only thing on my mind is making sure I make weight, because I will under no circumstance will I miss weight. It's like unacceptable in my mind.
Right.
If you accept a match at a weight, as a professional athlete, you should hold yourself to a certain standard where making the weight is the minimum. So that's been my focus. I've been pulling supers for like 6 years now, so it's been a long time since I've had to cut weight, but again, that's just it's part of any strength or combat sport, weight cutting. So it's nice to get back into it.
How much do you have to lose, Chance?
So about 5 weeks ago, I was 305, 306. This morning I was 274.
Wow,
so
that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I have 21 pounds to go, right? Yeah.
Well, you got to say 10 to 15 of that's water.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know exactly where I'll go. If my weight continues dropping so fast, I'm gonna try to increase my total calorie consumption so I can taper it off a little bit slower and then just water cut that. Because I do think that there might be an advantage to that, and it lets me fuel my body a little bit more. But it's again, it's been what 6 years since I've had to cut any weight, so I still have to play around with it and
Yeah. But your strength is still looking pretty good while you're cutting.
Yeah, I mean, my strength hasn't adjusted at all. I've just lost garbage weight, so
Yeah.
I feel way better health wise. My cardio is better, my breathing's better, my sleep is better, my energy is better. So, and my strength, I would say, is equal to maybe a couple percent up.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's good. My goal is to maintain everything that I have until 253. If I can come in with this power at 253, I feel I'll do really well.
Dangerous.
Yeah. We'll see.
Mhm.
But let's hop into the Challenger Series card. I'm not sure how familiar the two of you are with all of the matches or all of the athletes. Not everyone is going to know every athlete. Part of the Challenger Series is shining a light onto these up and coming athletes that maybe not everyone's familiar with. So the first match I want to talk about, you could just let me know if you know them or if you don't. John, I'll start with you. Ahmed from France versus Dane Sellers from Florida. Are you familiar with either of these guys?
That's one of the only match that I am not.
Okay, that's okay. Robbie, are you?
I'm not really familiar with them as well. How's the Florida guy? What's his name?
Dane Sellers.
Yeah. We'll wait. We'll wait to see.
So typically in competitions, both Ahmed and Dane will pull 242, but they decided to not have a weight cap on this so they can come in as heavy as possible. Right now, I believe Dane is 260 and Ahmed is closer to 275.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Ahmed is the French national champion. He's multiple time WAF competitor as well. He's always competing at a high level. He's about 6'6". He's a low hand top roller. Dana, on the other hand, is about 6 foot tall. He's only two and a half years into the sport at this point, so he doesn't have the same experience. But just last November, Dane beat Leonidas Arcona here in a tournament in Florida. So
Oh wow.
he possesses a ton of power. And in my opinion, it's just going to be whether or not he can access that power is what's going to allow him to win or not to win.
That'd be good. That's a good platform for him to shine. Then that'd be a good opportunity. I hope he wins. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, anything you want to say about that match?
I mean, you pretty much covered it all, other than just like I sound like I'm on repeat, but it's going to be a great match of power versus a lot of experience, and just how big is that gap? Is it too much? Like, I mean, granted, this guy's very experienced, but like Levon does to people because he's just so much more powerful. Or is it too close that it's not really going to favor Dane enough to be able to overtake someone of that elite level? Because this is Dane's first time getting to shine and getting to be broadcasted on a lot larger stage than what he has been. So I root for Dane, but most people would say you got to favor a French national champion and a guy with all that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, next match: Shane Owens versus Carl Stanley. John, do you know these athletes?
I know a bit about Carl Stanley. I know he's pretty strong. I'm not familiar with the other guy, so I have to go with Stanley.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So Shane Owens is out of South Carolina. He trains with the Carolina Chaos. That's Adam Warzinski, Hunter Knopfs, Chad Silvers, all those guys. Shane is part of that team. In the last year, Shane has dropped about 100 pounds. So he used to be pretty deep into the super heavyweights. Now he's walking around 250, 255.
Wow.
Shane is a hook specialist where Carl can kind of pull everywhere, hook, top roll, or even flop press. Robbie, do you know these two?
Yeah, like John, I know Carl. I feel like maybe he's a little more well known for my area. I've seen him compete, and I've seen him. I think he went to Louisiana State and did really well. Yeah, he just looks like very versatile, very strong in awkward positions too. Like he has that flop press he could pull out of his hat. So I mean, I'm rooting for him because I know him. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
hope he.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, I might be a little biased rooting for the Florida guy as well, but I truly think it's a great match. Dylan, what do you think?
I think it's a great match. Like we've said before, is Shane's strength going to suffer because he's lost so much weight, or was it kind of trash weight and he's maintained where he was when he was, 280, 290, 300 pounds? And then Carl's just really versatile. So you got a really versatile, strong guy that's at his upper weight of 290 pounds versus Shane that's coming down that I know of is only one lane with a hook. So that's why I give the edge to Carl.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
The next match we have is a 187 match. That is between George Whitfield and Eli Sidov, left-handed. John, do you know both George and Eli?
Yeah, I do, and I did pull both of them. If this would be a right hand match, I have to give it to George. But left hand, Eli is just so freaking strong, and I can't see George being able to beat Eli in the super match. Maybe
Okay.
he'd get lucky one round. But yeah, Eli is just very, very powerful left hand.
Yeah. Robbie, what do you think?
Well, I saw really only. I watched them at the 76 round robin, and Eli just looked dominant over everyone. Lefty that is. I know righty George did well. Like like John said, I think if it was righty, it would be a little different, but lefty, I think Eli.
Yeah, yeah. And going into this, Eli is the favorite. He is ranked number one in North America, left-handed at 176. Absolutely. However, in the round robin, George was the only person to give Eli any trouble at all. George got him about an inch from the pin pad 3 times. He elbow fouled, then Eli elbow fouled, and then he elbow fouled. So unfortunately, in a round robin format, you only get to see the one round. And so we wanted to see how it would play out over a super match. We lost John, but hopefully he'll be back here in a second. Dylan, anything you wanted to say about that match?
Man, I've never pulled Eli, but I have pulled George, and George is deceivingly powerful.
Really?
And I got to root for my Florida guy. So I'm going to give it to George. If it was round robin, I wouldn't because I don't think George has got the stamina, which showed. But I think he's got enough stamina to be in a few wars, a few rounds. So yeah, I'll give it to George. Oh God, 3-1. Because if it goes 2-2, then it's going to go to Eli if it gets into the endurance aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. Me personally, I don't know the score. I believe Eli is the favorite. I'm giving it to Eli 60-40. I hope it's a great match. Sorry, I'm a little biased. I'm going to root for George, though. Next match is Matt King versus Vios Antulis. John, do you know Matt? Do you know Vios?
So I've seen a bit of both guys. Matt definitely has a big match in front of him, but he's feeling very strong. So I'm rooting for Matt, and I hope he kills it.
Yeah. Did you get to grip up with him at my wedding?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't really remember too much of it, but yeah, I
Sure.
remember he was kind of strong.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's your fault, by the way.
Yeah. Robbie, do you know either of them?
So I know Matt. He's looking crazy strong, and he pulled one of my buddies that I trained with, Seth Evans, at one of your Florida events.
Mhm.
And I know how strong Seth is, and he went through Seth right-handed. I don't know who's the other guy.
His
Where's
name is Vios Antulis. Vios is originally from Greece. He's been living in Sweden for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's Swedish national champion. He's very competitive in Europeans and world championships as well.
And what weight are they meeting at? Is it
Yeah, that's going to be at 95 kilos, so
95?
209.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
I'll go with Matt because I know more of him, and I really hope he wins. He's doing great.
Yeah, that's fair. Dylan, what do you think?
Well, Matt King is my training partner. I've personally seen Matt King isolate curl in 150s several times.
Really?
So no, I'm joking. No, I'm rooting for Matt King all the way. Vios, you're gonna get crushed. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good match, honestly.
It's gonna be a great match. It's gonna
But
be a great match.
Matt will kill it for sure. He has to.
I'm rooting for Matt. I'm on the same team as Dylan. I think Vios is the favorite, though.
He is. He's definitely.
He has so much more experience under a super match format at a high level event on a big stage. Vios has been everywhere, so I have to favor him because of that. However, Matt's hand is insane. Anyone that's gripped up with him can tell you that, and I think it might be enough to control the match, but we'll see. Before we continue, I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. So, hello, the Drew 24, Alejandro, Jens Wickstrom, Dan Plexman, Tall, Paul Hutchins Jr., John Hutchison, Thomas Miles, Shane Owens, Calvin
The
Jones.
great Shane Owens, always with us.
Yeah, Shane is always in here, and he said, "Sai, I'm gonna stop watching these. Keep getting my feelings hurt." I don't know if anyone has picked Shane to win yet, except for Derek Smith.
Yeah.
So it's okay, Shane. You have Derek in your corner at least. Moving on to the next match. Obviously, we know both of you guys don't know Ahmed, but do you happen to know Paul Passmore, John?
I've watched a bit about Paul, but like you said, I have no clue who the other guy is, so I cannot give my output on that match. But I hope Paul pulls out the win.
Yeah, we got to root for North America, right?
Yeah,
Robbie, do you know Paul?
I know Paul. Yeah, that's the only one I know. I know how strong Paul is, especially with his weight cut. I know. Yeah, he's looking dominant now. I'm glad. He's taking it really serious. I think he'll win now.
Yeah. In my eyes, this match is a whole lot like the other match that Ahmed has, where it's someone who is physically stronger but not as technical, and it's just going to be whether or not Ahmed can have enough power where his technique matters, because technique only matters if you have the power to back it up.
Yeah.
My wife could learn everything there is to know about arm wrestling, but she'll never be any one of us in arm wrestling, right? It's very simple, but it could be interesting. Dylan, what do you think?
If Paul can keep his wrist flat or set any type of cup, Paul will sweep it. But he's facing a very long lever and a low hand, and that low hand is a hooker's worst nightmare. So it's all about if Paul can just not lose his hand, and if he can at least just keep a flat wrist or any type of supinated cup, and because Paul Passmore's side pressure is insane.
Yeah,
it looks
it
like
really
he
is.
can anywhere without his wrist or anything. He looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Passmore beat Corey West in a super match. He's beaten. He has wins on like Matt Mask, I believe, or Wayne Withers. Like he has a lot of really big wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to pull Paul?
You know what's crazy is Paul and I had a super match, and 2 weeks before the super match, we both went to the same tournament. I decided just to watch because I thought it was too close to my super match. He decided to enter it, and unfortunately, that's where he broke his arm. So,
oh wow.
yeah, and I was reffing, which was terrible. So,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that match never happened. Maybe it will in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Next up is Matt Mask versus Wilton Brock, left-handed, and that's at 231. John, do you know? Obviously, you know Matt. Do you know Wilton Brock?
No, I'm not too familiar with him. I know how strong Matt is, so I have to go with Matt.
Yeah, that's fair. Robbie, do you know Wilton Brock?
I've seen him pull. I've seen him pull like a good lefty. Jonathan Breida out of Louisiana, and I know they had a lot of wars like him and Pablo. I know they were all kind of close. Wilton looks very strong, but Matt, you can't count him out. His left is It's looking really, really good. From what I talked to him and what he's told me, his training's been good. So I go with Matt.
All right. Dylan, what do you think?
I feel like no one knows anything about Wilton Brock because he just doesn't compete very often.
Yeah.
So obviously, just right there, I'm going with Matt Mass just because of experience alone, and I think Matt's hand and I think he's plenty powerful enough to close the gap, even if Wilton's a lot stronger.
Yeah, I think the only people that really know who Wilton are guys that have been in arm wrestling for longer than like 10, 12 years. Anyone that's any newer than that, myself included, is probably not going to be that familiar with Wilton. And the only reason I know who Wilton is so well is because I'm from Florida. And Wilton is like one of our two Florida mythical guys, right? That just, you won't see him for years. He pops up, he smashes everyone, and then he disappears again. So it's him and Jeremy Pappy here in Florida. Those two guys are just like.
I didn't even know he was from Florida. Okay.
Yeah, so he's from North Florida. He's closer to Alabama, but I still get to claim him because he's still Florida.
Yeah. But he pops in every now and again, just to a random tournament, just dominate.
Yeah. Everyone's like, "Oh, is that Wilton? Wilton's here. Wilton's here." A bunch of people withdraw left-handed. So Wilton's super powerful. I still think Matt is a slight favorite, but I think it's very, very close, like 55-45. If Wilton stops it, Wilton will win.
Really?
It's going to be, in my opinion, it's
you
just going to be up.
Takes his hand?
If Matt takes his hand, Wilton won't stop it.
Okay.
So, I think either Wilton keeps his wrist and stops it and brings it all the way back, or Wilton's wrist is gone. And I've never seen him pull without his wrist. So, I don't know if he has that. Again, Wilton, you see once every few years. So he might have that in the last few years. He could have trained that, but I have no clue.
Yeah.
All right. Next match is Patrick Berg versus Hunter Knopfs, and that's at 165 right-handed. John, do you know Patrick and Hunter?
Yeah, I do. And so all I can say is Hunter's been looking very, very strong lately. So it's very hard to go against him. So I have to go with Hunter. I think he's just going up and he's getting stronger. He's getting more technical. His speed is there. So all around, he's a very good arm wrestler. And I think he has the slight edge on this match.
Yeah, that's fair. Robbie, what do you think?
I don't know. Who's the first guy you said? I know Hunter.
So Patrick Berg, he's the Swedish national champion. He's pulled at Arm Wars quite a few times, so you might have recognized him from that.
Yeah. He's strong, but like John said, I think Hunter is just on a whole different level right now. I mean, he took both round robins, not even in his weight category. He's just blowing through guys. He in his training's been looking really good on social media, so I go with Hunter. Super strong, explosive.
Yeah. Hunter's been looking incredible, like you said.
Yeah,
Dylan, what do you think?
He got the shot. That's good.
I think he's earned it. He beat everyone in North America. It's time he pulls someone international.
Right.
Dylan, what did you think about this match?
I'm gonna ride the hype train. I'm gonna go with Hunter on this one. I know Patrick's obviously the favorite just because his accolades and what he's done. But, I mean, to each its own. You got a 154, you got a 176 round robin guy that's won both of those in North America. LeRae Jenkins puts on a very prestigious show there, so he always invites the best. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hunter's not been pulling as long as Patrick, obviously. But I think he's deserving of it. He's up there, and I'm going to ride that hype train and root for Hunter.
Yeah. In my opinion, I have to go with Patrick, and that's not necessarily who I'm rooting for, but I believe Patrick has a lot more experience. Patrick has pulled way more super matches than Hunter has. He's a national champion. I know he's done pretty well at WAF. So for me, on paper, Patrick is a heavy favorite. Yeah, Hunter is a guy who doesn't not to say he doesn't have power, but he typically relies on his speed, his hit. And in European Championship, Swedish Championship, and World Championships, a lot of guys are really, really fast. So, when you come from that background, in my opinion, speed is eliminated a little bit, and it's probably going to get stopped. And for me, it's just going to be interesting to see if Hunter has the horsepower to keep up with Patrick. And if he does, then I would favor Hunter. If he doesn't, obviously I'm taking Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great match. Yeah, it's a great match.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick has pulled Coach Ray just like the two of you. And in my opinion, I would put Patrick power-wise on the level of both of you. I think he's right in that same ballpark. So yeah, where we haven't seen Hunter face someone like Coach Ray to really gauge it.
Right.
Yeah. All right, next match is Gabriel, the Italian champion, versus Robbie Russell out of Tennessee. This is a right-handed 95 kilo or 209-pound match. John, do you know Robbie and Gabriel?
Yeah, I do. So if it goes in the hook, Robbie will totally eat him alive. Robbie's hook's just nuts.
Yeah.
So the only chance for the other guy is to top roll Robbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So I can't really know how it's going to go yet. But I know for sure if it goes in the hook, Robbie has it.
Well, yeah, Robbie's a freak. I mean, in practice, he beats Ron Bath in a hook. I've seen video of it. I know in an overalls, he beat Jerome. Obviously, you had a super match, John, and you couldn't find success inside. I know you got around on him outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The inside, it's crazy.
Yeah. His inside is wicked. He has a big hand. He's very strong. Fortunately for Gabriel, he is a top roller. So I don't see him trying to test that inside spot, but I guess you never know.
But Robbie's really like from what I've seen, he's really working on his containment against top rollers. So it all depends if he's able to just contain his top roll, drag him in the hook. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I agree. Robbie, what do you think about this match?
So I don't know the other guy, the Italian
Gabriel?
guy. Yeah, Gabriel. Like I know Robbie. Robbie's super strong. I pulled him. You know, super crazy strong inside. You know, I put him like you said. He's beaten Jerome and he's been Ron Bath in practice. I mean, his inside game, if it ever goes there, I think it's him all day. And I still think he's going to win. I think he'll have the containment and hook him inside and just wash him through. I think maybe Gabriel could possibly, if he has a really good top roll, maybe get 1, maybe 2 rounds on him. That's if Robbie can't really sink it in. But I think Robbie's going to have a pretty easy day.
All right, Dylan, what do you think?
If it goes inside, Robbie. If Robbie can't sink his hook in, then Gabriel.
Yeah. I mean, I have to agree. I think even if it goes inside, I think Gabriel has the power to give him some sort of resistance. I don't think it'll be flash pin. And same thing, even if Gabriel top rolls, Robbie might have enough strength with his wrist flat or backwards to stop it and make it a little bit of a match. So for me, it's really interesting. We saw Robbie do amazing at the 198 round robin. He took second place to Craig Touye. We've seen him just, again, beating Jerome and Ron and people like that. So for me, it's really cool to finally see him face an international caliber opponent and Gabriel. So I favor Gabriel. I'm rooting for Robbie. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. All right. Next match is Andrei Sharkovich versus Emil Ekstrom. John, we'll start with you.
So this is a match that makes me laugh because I know Emil's the huge underdog, and I think people are going to be shocked at how strong Emil is actually. I know Andrei's really strong. He's been doing super good in North America, but Emil is just so freaking fast and powerful. So it's not going to be an easy day for either guys. I think it's going to be a crazy match, and that's one of the match I'm most looking forward to watch.
Yeah. Well, who do you pick?
Who's the guy out of? The other guy?
So it's Emil Ekstrom out of Sweden, and then Andrei Sharkovich. He's living in Florida.
Yeah, so I know.
I'm going to go with the underdog, Emil.
All right.
Okay.
So, Robbie, if you've ever watched any of my content, Emil's been on my channel a few times. He had a super match with Beerman up in Canada. He had a super match with Brandon Elsesser here in Florida. I'm not sure
Okay.
if you've seen those, but he won both of those 3-0.
So is this right hand or left hand match?
This is a left-handed match at 231. Sorry.
231. Okay. Oh, it beat Brandon Alcester. I'm not sure how compared to his right, how good it is. You know, I know I've heard of Andre. I've watched him for a while. I know how strong he is. You know, and look, he looks ridiculous. I don't know much of the other guys still, so I would still go with Andre.
Okay, that's fair. Dylan, what do you think?
This is exciting. If Emil is where I know he can be, I'm going with Emil. But if he's not where I know he can be, I'm gonna go with Shark because I felt both of them on the table before. One was granted, Shark was much later in my arm wrestling, so I was a little bit stronger. But I remember feeling Emil's left hand, and I was just like, well, this might not be for me.
Made you question it.
Huh?
It made you question it a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Totally made me question it. And then I felt Andre later, like probably 6-7 months into me arm wrestling, and I could get him out of the strap. But once we put on the strap, I still wasn't technical in a strap and a setup, and his back pressure was a whole lot. But oh God, it could go either way. But if you put a gun to my head, 60-40 Shark.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, I'm biased. Emil was the best man in my wedding, one of two best men in my wedding. So you can imagine who I'm rooting for. However, I do kind of agree with the consensus that Andre's probably the favorite on paper. He's been killing it. He just won 12 or 11-0 in the 220 round robin. That was right-handed, but yeah, Andre's incredible. However, Emil is, I know what kind of shape Emil is in right now. I've seen him when he's in this kind of shape pull with some really high level people and like after pulls. He was holding Samusha pretty easy and pinning him. And he beat Brandon Alcester 3-0, and he has wins on Artem and Chris Chandler and all sorts of high level guys. So I do think that, again, Andre's a slight favorite, but I'm really hoping Emil wins, but I give it 51-49 Andre. Yeah. Next match is Vios, which the two of you did not know, versus Brent Rockers, and that's 209 left-handed. One thing I didn't tell you guys about Vios left-handed is Vios's biggest left-handed win is actually against Prudnik.
Really?
Yeah. Vios is very explosive on the left, really hard top roll. He cracked Prudnik's wrist straight to the pad.
Wow.
So just a little bit more information on Vios. John, have you pulled Brent Rockers? Do you know who he is?
I've after pulled with him, and I know his hook is super solid. His hand is very solid. But yeah, you giving me that information, I don't think that it's going to be an easy day for Brent, but I'm not counting him out. I know how strong he is, and he could possibly pull it off.
Yeah. I mean, Brent is the number one ranked North American at 209 pounds. So as far as what we can offer, this is our guy. So definitely I would agree it's not going to be an easy match for Vios. Robbie, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for Brent. I know he's so dominant, like, you know, and in the U.S., you know, lefty and even righty, he's dominant. I know his left's a little more dominant, but like you said before, Vios, I didn't know what he's done before that, but given you said he beat Prudnik and took his wrist, that's going to be hard for Brent. I feel like I think it still can be a close match. It's just, you know, if he's able to contain and Brent's not able to keep his wrist, he's not getting flat. I think that could be a big factor.
Yeah. Dylan, what are your thoughts?
I pulled Brent left-handed, and what just swayed me was that how violent you described Bios's top roll. Mm-hmm. And I was able to do something with Brent left-handed. And so we might have thrown old Brent into some deep water. I'm rooting North America all the way. Do not get me wrong. But like I said, gun to my head, Vios.
Yeah, that's fair. Vios is the favorite here. I'm going to give it to Vios 65-35. Brent absolutely has lanes to win. He has the experience. He's been at the top of the North American game for over 20 years now. But again, when you have a win against someone like Prudnik in an actual tournament with a real ready go, that's kind of next level in my eyes. So I believe Vios is probably the favorite there. Next match we have is Cody Merritt versus Eric Falgren. John, you know Cody, I would imagine. Do you know who Eric Falgren is?
No, do you want to tell me a bit about him?
Sure. So Eric Falgren is national champion from Sweden. He's about 6'6", 6'7", 350 pounds. He was very, very good 2014, 2015, 2016 before he took a break, and he started coming back the last 2 years. Right before he took a break, he broke Gennadi's left arm at WAF, retiring Gennadi left. And then actually outside of the straps, he gave Levon a pretty good match as well. This is when Levon was still pulling WAF. So that's a little bit about Eric. Obviously, Cody is a WAF world champion. Cody, we all know Cody. He's number one in North America for a reason. He has wins over guys like Corey West. He's given good matches to like Morozov for a round. He gave a good match to Olajan for a round. So yeah, we know where Cody's at. Now that you know a little bit about Eric, does that give you enough information to make a prediction?
I still think Cody's going to get the win. He's very powerful, and he knows what he's doing. So I'm pretty sure he's going to come up dominant. Again, it's not going to be an easy match, but I give him the win.
That's fair. Robbie?
So what's the name? Eric. What's his style?
So Eric actually, he's mainly a top roller, but he can also press and hook.
Press. Does he set up like Camille when he does press? Does it give it away, or does it more transition?
It's more of a transition.
Transition?
Yeah.
All right. I think Cody. I would say Cody. Cody's just so dominant in the U.S. He did have that problem with Camille, but that was him loading in and going straight for, going against the presser. So if this is more of a transition, I think Cody all the way, I think.
Yeah. Now, as far as I know, Cody and Eric only have one common opponent, and it is Camille, and Camille beat them both. But Camille's style is so unorthodox, especially if you're a long arm top roller. Unless you're Vitaly, you're probably not going to be able to stop it. So I can't really take a whole lot from their common opponent. Dylan, what do you think about this match?
I think it's going to be a great match. I'm gonna go with North America, but I don't know what version of Cody we're getting. I don't know if this is a trained Cody, because I know I haven't. I don't know if Chance has had many conversations. We keep up with the athletes as much as we can that we invite to the card, and we see what they do post online and tag us in. And unfortunately, Cody hasn't tagged us in a lot, so I don't know what version I'm getting of him to get to see, because this is my first time actually getting to see him pull. So. But I'm gonna go North America. I'm gonna go Cody. I just don't know the score. I don't know. Close.
Yeah. I think it's going to be very close as well. Both of these guys, they almost live and die by their hand. Both Cody and Eric rely on winning the high ground, taking control, and then going from there. So it's going to be really interesting to see whose hand is stronger, who's able to control the top. And I think whoever controls the top is going to win the match. I don't see either of them fighting without their wrist from the losing position. It's just I haven't seen it from either of them. So I'm going to slightly favor Cody here, like 51-49, but for me it's a coin toss, because again, these guys have never pulled. Just like most of the guys on the card, these are guys from different places in the planet where there's no common opponents. It's really a guessing game on who's better, who's stronger. So that's a lot of what makes these matches interesting to me.
Yeah.
Next match is Auden Larratt versus James English. John, you know both of these guys. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. So Auden doesn't have my back, so I'm going with James.
That's fair enough.
But jokes aside, Audin's getting stronger and stronger as time goes. He has one of the best coaches in the world, so I still think it's going to be a very good match. Uh, they're both newer arm wrestlers, so I just think in general it should be a good match. But I'll give maybe like 5% more towards Audin on that one.
Gotcha. So you pick Auden, but you're rooting for James since Auden's rooting against you,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. Just because he doesn't have my back.
Okay, fair enough. Robbie, what do you think of this match?
Never met James. I've watched him on YouTube recently. I didn't know much going into it. I was obviously I was gonna heavy favor Auden just because his dad. I know Auden trains harder probably than anyone we know. He's just so consistent, and I know he's just climbing and climbing and climbing. And I believe he'll probably be number one without a doubt one day. But James, like I said, James, I saw him pull some people that I know are high caliber, like Mika, and I know it was just a practice pull. But when I was watching it, I was like, wow, this actually could be a really good match, and it'll give Auden a chance to see where he's actually at in like a really good category because Mika, he's not a slouch. He beats a lot of people out west. So if he could beat James, I think that's going to be great. I'm going with Auden though.
Yeah. I think most people are going with Auden. A lot of people don't know about James. Robbie, I'll tell you, in a lot of ways, James reminds me of you, someone coming from that strength background, transitioning to arm wrestling, and the way you guys move on the table in a lot of ways seems similar. So, maybe one day in the future you two could pull. But
yeah, that'd be good. I mean, yeah, he looks stocky, strong power lifter type, about my size. Well, bigger than me, but like stylistic wise, I think we would be a really good match as well.
Yeah,
It'd be good to meet everybody.
I think he walks around 210, 215, so right the same weight as you.
Yeah.
He's 5'9". I don't know how tall you are.
Yeah, I'm like 5'9" too. So
yeah, so you guys are very close. Yeah.
It'll be good to see him on a Ready Go. I want to see. I'll study him with Auden and see what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan, what do you think?
Another great match for power versus experience. I think we've touched on it. We do think that James's power difference is very superior to Auden. But I'm going to give it to Auden because, his dad's right there in his corner this whole way through. He's fast. He is fast. And he's experienced more so than James is. So I'm going to give the edge to Auden, but it's going to really test Auden, but I'm going to say 3-1 Auden.
Okay. So when we first announced this match a couple months ago, everyone was posting all over, oh, Auden's getting another free win. They're just trying to give him someone to make him look good, blah, blah, blah. But I think now that everyone has seen James training and taking it 100% serious and posting his numbers and beating guys like Mika in practice, I think people start to realize that we did not give Auden an easy match at all. Auden probably a slight favorite on paper still, but I think it's a very, very, very close match. I'm actually going to take James winning this like 3-2. I think it'll be a nail biter, maybe match of the night.
Now here's the thing. What if it happens? They're fighting in the setup. There's a ready go, an elbow foul, and then fighting in the setup, ready go, elbow foul. So we got one. Does it become endurance? And where is James on endurance? Because we know Auden's probably got plenty of endurance to keep going.
So the way that I see it is traditionally or like typically, I would agree with you. Auden has way more endurance, but Auden has also put on he told me his weight, and I don't want to say it, but Auden has put on a lot of weight. In the last few months.
And if it happens really fast, it can hurt your endurance. So.
Exactly. So that's where it's like a question mark. James might have the better endurance than Auden going into this. It's really hard to know.
Yeah. That's probably one of my favorite matches, though. I really want to see. I want to see Auden do well, and James just looks he seems like a really good guy, and I'm glad he's getting into the sport, especially with the following. He'll be really good for the sport. And I hope he, takes it serious after the match as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we move on to the next match, I got 2 super chats I want to address.
Hey, Chance,
Jungwon Lee,
Chance, real quick. I got to grab a charger. I'll be right back.
Okay. Jungwon Lee says John's got it all day. So, John, I guess you have someone rooting for you here.
Right. Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then KC Jones with a $2 super chat says, what is more manly, fish sticks or hot dogs? I'll let you guys answer that question.
You get to choose that.
What do you think, John?
I'll go with the fish sticks,
Fish sticks
just
or
as I
hot
like fishing.
Gosh. Yeah, give me some fish sticks. Hot dogs, you don't even know what's in there.
Yeah. I'll take fish sticks as well. So
Yeah.
that's 3 for fish sticks and 0 for hot dogs. Thank you for the question. The next match is one that is going to probably be the most entertaining match on the card. No offense to you guys or any other match, but because of the 2 people pulling, I expect fireworks no matter the outcome. And that's between Derek Smith and Travis Bagent. Travis, this is his comeback super match. The last time we saw him pull left-handed was Brandon Alcester. That didn't look too good. But since then, Travis has said he's training. He's coming in strong. He's not just collecting a check. And across from him, obviously, is a very big 6'8", 350-pound Derek Smith. John, what do you think of this match?
So it's kind of just a guess because I'm not sure how Travis is actually going to come in. So he might be like he was before, or he might not just be ready yet. Derek is very powerful, and like you said, he has the height. So I have to go with Derek unless Travis proves me wrong, comes in as ready as he can be.
Yeah. What do you think, Robbie?
I talked to Derek at King of the Table. He seems like a really good guy. I'm not really sure. I know his left is really strong. But Travis, it's just like kind of I want to see that comeback and get a victory for him. As much as I like Derek, it would be good to see Travis actually back and progressing like he used to be as good and be on the top like he used to be.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in time, Travis was the number 1 lefty in the world. So,
Right.
This is one of, if not the greatest lefty of all time. And so it's kind of interesting to watch because if Travis is anywhere where he was a couple years ago when he pulled Brandon, Derek is going to walk through him. If Travis is where he was in 2016 when he's mowing over Dave Chafee, then Travis won't even feel Derek. But my guess is it's probably somewhere between those. And so it could be a really interesting match.
Yeah.
Obviously, Derek's no slouch. I'm really excited for it. And I love the fact that these 2 are commentating the entire event and then they're pulling each other. So if we know Travis is just going to be running his mouth.
Yeah. So he might get in his head a little bit too.
Yeah.
Get in his head a little bit.
Yeah, he just might. Dylan, what do you think?
For Derek and
Travis.
I believe just like you said, if Travis is 70% of his former self, he's gonna maybe a little bit more of a fight, but I'm going with Travis on that one because Derek doesn't seem to really care about left-handed too much from the conversations we had.
Yeah, he says he doesn't care, but then he has bigger wins left-handed and is higher ranked left-handed than he is right-handed. So, yeah, I think it's just one of those things like, oh, my left is weak, and then it really it's strong.
Really, really good.
Yeah,
but my left is actually very weak.
That's what you said, but then how did you do in Florida? Who did you beat?
I'm not sure. Who did I beat?
I thought you beat Noel, didn't you?
No, not left. My left sucks, gents.
Okay, maybe
the left was really good. I remember Dusty Hyatt told me he was pulling you before at Armwrestling. He's like, and his hand and everything, he's freaking crazy strong.
Yeah, but compared to my right, I'm like a baby left hand.
Yeah, but see, that's the issue is you can't compare it to your right. You have to compare it to everyone else's left.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true.
Yeah,
I guess it's not awful, but my right is definitely dominant. I get Derek's point of view. Left hands to hold the drink, and it's the party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
fair.
if it does good, it does good.
I love after pulling with people and be like, oh yeah, my left is terrible, and then you just hold them center table and slowly pin them. They're like, oh
that
man,
happens.
yeah. I'm like, I gotta stop telling people my left is bad. I just gotta let them pin me if I do. I feel bad. But real quick, before we get to the headlining match, I just want to let everyone know. Please go to thechallengerseries.com. I put the link in the chats. Order your pay-per-view, buy your tickets, get your merchandise. There's a couple VIP slots still available. The price day of will be higher than it is today. So the price is going up very shortly on the pay-per-view and the in-person tickets. So please take advantage of it. Save yourself some money and buy it while it's cheap. It's like $15 pay-per-view and $30 for in-person tickets. We've already sold over 150 in-person tickets, and most people buy tickets the week of. So I'd imagine we're going to have a pretty good crowd there cheering you guys on. It's going to be a great time. Yeah. One other thing I want to touch on is the raffle. So we are selling raffle tickets. They're $10 a ticket, and we're going to raffle off a bunch of cool items. But the big item we're raffling is the table that everyone is competing on, signed by all the athletes and Devin. So that's a really cool piece of arm wrestling memorabilia that you have the chance of winning for $10. So go buy yourself a raffle ticket while you're there.
And Chance, what's the maker of the table? Because I butcher his name every time.
Yeah, his name is I don't know how to say his last name. His first name is Igor. His last name is not Mazarenko, but this is the guy who was responsible for making all the old school Igor Mazarenko tables before they got outsourced to China. So this is the highest quality table in the world. We ordered it from Ukraine. Cost us an arm and a leg to get here shipping wise, but we didn't want to cut any corners when it comes to the quality of this event.
Awesome. So the day of the event it's going to be inside, I'm guessing, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
Outside in June in Florida, that would have been miserable.
Like, okay, awesome.
Yeah,
with AC, right?
Yeah, indoor event with air conditioning.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the least we could do for you guys. Yeah, the last match on the card, it's 231 or 105 kilo match, right-handed, Matt Mask and Brad Grundy. John, what do you think of this match?
So if Matt actually goes in the hook, I doubt it'll happen, but that would be dumb because I would give the edge to Brad. From what I've seen, I think Matt has the slight edge, but Brad's one of my good buddies, so I really hope Brad kills it.
All right, so you're rooting for the American.
Yeah.
Man, what's going on with Canadians? No one has each other's back. Auden's picking.
I'm from Florida, Chance. You know that.
Yeah, that's true. You're basically Floridian at this point.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So it's a right hand match? It's a right hand?
Yeah, right-handed at 231. So it's a new category for both of those guys.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Shoot, I like them both. I can't choose. I don't think I can choose a favorite, but I think Matt might pull off the win. I know Brad's super technical though. He has a bunch of different lanes. And you won't think he's gonna win, and like he'll get flashed, and then he'll do something out of the hat and flash the other guy. You're like, wow, where'd that come from? So like you can never count Brad out, but I think this could be either a close match or it could be a sweep, and I hope it's a close match. But I think Matt's gonna win.
Yeah. I mean, Matt has to be the favorite. Matt has been at the top for 15, 20 years at this point. So we all know where Matt is, what level Matt's at. We don't really know what level Brad's at. Brad's coming off of his last 3 super matches being victories. He beat Kyle Hutchinson at East versus West. Then at the AWC event in Canada, he beat Big Rick Heidebrick. And then just recently in Florida, he beat Pavlo Durbanyev 3-1. Like you said, round 1, Pavlo flash pinned him. After that, Brad won every single round. So Brad's very technical. He has a lot of great adjustments. I'm really excited for this. What do you think, Dylan?
Yep. Pretty much what you just said, that round 1, just like Pavlo, Pavlo pretty much rose right into him, carried him right over to the pin pad, and then he made the necessary adjustments. But Matt Mask is going to win round 1. It's just going to happen. I would bet the farm on it. If he does the same thing round 2, it's a sweep. because Brad will make adjustments. But at that point, if Brad stops it anywhere in the center or even close, I'm going to say the tides turn and Brad will turn that win 3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably agree with you. However, if I was a betting man and I was gambling only with my head and not with my heart, I'm probably gonna gamble on Matt Mask to win.
Yeah, for sure.
However, I mean, I really like both of these guys. Matt reached out to me when I was like 6 months into the sport and taught me how to low hand top roll. So like Matt has been a friend for a long time. Brad obviously is a good friend here in Florida. So I can't really say I'm biased, but I think that Brad is going to surprise a lot of people and win this. A lot of people are basing it off of Brad and Matt left-handed, but both of them are completely different styles left-handed, completely different strengths left-handed. So I don't really put a ton into that. And I just hope it's a great match.
Yeah, it's going to be seeing, like, also Matt's hand is huge. Is Brad going to be able to even get some containment or something with that? Obviously, I think it's all going to be in the strap, in my opinion. But is he going to be able to get any containment to stop that promenation a little bit from Matt?
Yeah. It'll definitely be interesting, but
Right.
that's all. That's the whole card. Obviously, you guys are coming over mid next week, so it'll only be a few days until we see you. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we call it a night?
No, I think that was great. I appreciate having us on.
Yeah, thank
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
And I think everyone that's thinking about missing this event is an idiot. Because that's going to be a crazy freaking event. A lot of great matches, and you guys should not miss this.
Yeah. I mean, if you're within a couple hour driving distance and you miss this, I don't want to hear you talk about arm wrestling like ever again because you're missing such an amazing event.
Yeah.
But Dylan, is there anything you wanted to say?
Man, just like John had said, like people really need to tune into this one because what me and Chance are doing is not what original East First West is doing, where it's all the elites of the elites. We are finding the next rising star. We are finding the next elite to bump up to Engin and let them start facing them boys right there. So, granted, yes, we have Matt Mast and stuff like that, and he's already proven his, but most of our card, a lot of people haven't heard of or have never faced on an international level. And that's what we're really trying to make the Challenger Series about is finding the next person, gaining some ground in the U.S., trying to get this recognized as a real sport and, have fun doing it and having a really crazy crowd. So we're hoping we hope we can meet max capacity in that thing.
Yeah. It's going to be a great weekend regardless.
Definitely going to be a lot of fun. Real quick, before we call it a night, Brad Grundy is in the chat, and he sent a $10 super chat. Thank you, Brad. He said, Robbie hooked me up with stem cells, and John always hooks me up with a SIG. Love both these guys. Great match.
We love you, Brad.
So I'm the bad guy. Huh?
Hey, you're both hooking them up, right?
Yeah, we'll hook them up.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We'll call it a night there, and I will see you next week. One more thing. I'm sorry. Before I forget, tomorrow we are going live with Hunter Knopfs and Patrick Berg, and there might be a second live stream a little later in the day with none other than Devin Lorette. So keep your eyes on the channel tomorrow. It's going to be a great stream.